Welcome back to Motor Authority Philippines, the channel where we dive into the firepower, the history, and the battlefield impact of military hardware in the region and beyond. Today, we're taking a deep look at one of the most recognizable and enduring weapons ever used in modern conflict, the RPG-7. Despite being a weapon developed during the Cold War in the Soviet Union, it continues to see extensive use in 2025, including within Southeast Asia and the Philippines military context. Let's explore why this missile system refuses to fade into history. The RPG-7, short for Ruchnoy Protivotankovy Granatomet, or handheld anti-tank grenade launcher, was introduced by the Soviet Union in 1961. Though calling it a missile is a bit of a stretch by today's standards, it's technically an unguided rocket. It plays a missile-like role in infantry support, particularly in close-range anti-armor and bunker-busting operations. What makes the RPG-7 so iconic is its simple design, ease of use, and proven battlefield effectiveness. It has shown up in nearly every major conflict from Vietnam and Afghanistan to Iraq, Syria, and even localized skirmishes in Mindanao. In the Philippines, where terrain, guerrilla tactics, and asymmetrical warfare often dominate the combat landscape, the RPG-7 remains especially relevant. Its rugged build, lack of reliance on complex electronics, and the ability to fire a variety of warheads make it a perfect fit for jungle and urban warfare alike. From government forces to rebel groups, the RPG-7 has been used in various capacities, whether in direct assaults on enemy bunkers or improvised use against light vehicles. A key reason for the continued use of the RPG-7 in 2025 is the sheer number of models and warheads available. The original RPG-7 launcher has spawned dozens of variants, both licensed and unlicensed, and even the rockets it fires have evolved significantly over time. The most common model used in the Philippines is the RPG-7V2, which is compatible with a wide range of munitions. It allows users to engage targets from as close as 200 meters up to 500 meters, depending on the optic used and the operator's skill level. But even older RPG-7 Volts and V1 models are still circulating. Among the rocket types used are the PG-7VL and PG-7VRA anti-tank rounds designed to penetrate armor. The VL can penetrate around 500 mm of rolled homogeneous armor, while the VR uses a tandem charge to defeat explosive reactive armor, capable of penetrating up to 650 mm. These warheads may not match the capabilities of modern guided systems, but they are devastating against unarmored and lightly armored targets, and effective against fortifications and buildings when used with high explosive or thermobaric warheads like the TBG-7 Volts. Let's talk about how these systems are actually employed in real-world conditions, especially in the Philippine setting. The typical RPG-7 team includes a gunner and at least one assistant. While the gunner focuses on aiming and firing, the assistant helps carry rockets and prepares them for launch. Training for the RPG-7 is surprisingly short compared to guided systems. In fact, with minimal instruction, almost anyone can learn the basics of aiming and firing. That's one of the reasons why it remains a go-to weapon not just for professional militaries, but also for insurgent and irregular forces. What makes the RPG-7 versatile is not just the variety of rockets, but also how it integrates with infantry tactics. For example, during urban clearing operations, a team might use the RPG-7 to blow through a wall or neutralize a sniper in a fortified position. In mountain or jungle warfare, where direct fire support is limited due to terrain, an RPG-7 can be carried into tight, remote areas where vehicles or aircraft support may not be feasible. Even though the RPG-7 lacks the pinpoint accuracy of modern guided missiles like the FGM-148 Javelin or Spiker, it compensates through availability, cost-effectiveness, and sheer psychological impact. When an RPG-7 is fired, it's not just a physical explosion. It has a massive visual and acoustic signature that can disorient and intimidate enemy forces. That psychological edge is critical in situations where morale can be a deciding factor. Of course, it's not all positives. The RPG-7's lack of guidance means it's only as accurate as the soldier firing it. Environmental factors like wind, terrain, and even stress can affect shot placement. Plus, against modern tanks equipped with composite armor and active protection systems, an RPG-7 won't do much unless it gets a lucky hit. Still, the Philippines doesn't often face those kinds of threats in its current conflicts. Light vehicles, personnel, and static targets are far more common, and for those, the RPG-7 remains brutally effective. In recent years, there has been a push to modernize or even phase out systems like the RPG-7 in favor of guided anti-tank systems. But for many armed forces in the developing world, including the Philippines, budget constraints and operational needs mean older systems like the RPG-7 are here to stay. What we're seeing now in 2025 is not a retirement of the RPG-7, but a smart integration of it alongside more modern tech. For instance, there are now digital optics and laser rangefinders that can be mounted on newer RPG variants, increasing first shot hit probability. Some Philippine Marine units have reportedly modified RPGs with locally made rails and optics, combining traditional firepower with updated gear. The RPG-7 also plays a role in training. Because it's relatively cheap to fire and easy to maintain, it's used in live-fire exercises to give troops experience with real-world effects and combat simulation. That's especially valuable in an archipelago like the Philippines, where military logistics can be challenging and high-tech equipment may not always be available across all units. Another interesting development is the use of the RPG-7 in maritime security. On smaller vessels and coastal patrols, RPGs have been used to deter pirate activity and even engage hostile small boats. They're lightweight, powerful, and don't require advanced targeting systems, making them ideal for fast response scenarios. So where does this leave us in 2025? The RPG-7, a Cold War relic by most definitions, still holds its own in modern combat. For the Philippines and many nations facing hybrid threats from insurgency to piracy, the RPG-7's blend of affordability, adaptability, and sheer destructive capability means it continues to earn its place in the armory. It's not the flashiest weapon out there, and it certainly isn't the most precise, but when you need something that works in rain, mud, or mountains, it delivers. Whether it's carried by special forces deep in the jungle or slung over the shoulder of a patrol unit on the outskirts of a town, the RPG-7 is a reminder that sometimes, old tools still get the job done. In an era of drones, smart bombs, and AI warfare, this manually fired, shoulder-launched rocket stands as a symbol of battlefield simplicity that refuses to be forgotten. That's it for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most battle-tested weapons in use today, be sure to like the video, subscribe to Motor Authority Philippines, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming features on local military equipment, regional tactics, and real-world applications of defense systems in Southeast Asia. See you in the next one, and stay sharp.